Hey, what's up, Resistance? It's Joy here again. This is the follow-up video of the What's in the Box that I did earlier. I had mentioned mounting a scope on the 500 Smith& Wesson, and that's what I'm getting ready to do here. Um, First of all, I want to make some corrections that I did earlier, right quick, if you just don't mind. Uh, when I was talking about this pistol, I brought it back to its X-frame and all that, and I pointed out about the site and all being relevant to that. That's not true. I misspoke on that. Uh, that particular type of site is available on a lot of their firearms that handle extreme pressures and stuff like that. And that's what this does. The X frame is that it's a beefed up version of a common pistol. Uh, it's made to handle extreme pressures of the rounds that it fires. And like I say, this is currently the biggest pistol round pistol that they make. The this bullet right here is the biggest pistol round that they make. Uh, there's several reasons why they call it a pistol round. The casing is one. The fact that it has the powder inside is a fast burning powder, and it's made to cause that uh, bullet to eject very fast, very powerful, and everything. I showed two. If I can grab them right quick. I showed these earlier. Now, I you know I have many different firearms. Now, I'm not really a big revolver guy. But what those keys are is that if you can see that little spot right there, inside that spot looks to be like a torque head screw, but it actually locks the trigger to where the gun cannot be fired. It's basically a safety. Uh, I gotta say, Smith and Wesson, y'all make some great stuff. I don't know if that's something y'all were trying to comply with or what, but it's stupid, man. It is stupid. Uh, you know, I'm all if you like your farms have safeties, that's fine, but don't make it to where I have to have a tool or a device or a key or whatever you want to call it to deactivate that safety. Uh, that's going to make me not want to use it, and I won't use it. That's something that will stay in the case forever, and I have no intentions of ever using that. Okay, with that being said, I think that's the corrections that I wanted to make. If there's any more mistakes out there, somebody wants to point them out, please tell me, and I will go back and I will correct those. Like I say, we're going to be putting a scope on this, and I'm going to point out some of the stuff needed. One is this is Loctite. This pair of pliers to pinch the top off the Loctite with. I have a little Torx tool here. Uh, this here are scope rings. This is made by Burris. These were recommended uh, to me, and the scope that I'm putting on there is also a Burris. And the scope mount, which I do have a little story about that, is the EGW. Y'all see that? Smith and Wesson scope mount for X-frame pistols. Actually, it just says revolver tactical scope mount, but it should mount on. There's several of the frames that it should mount on. Um, was hoping it'd give me a list, but it should fit all the X frames and everything like that, and a few of the others. Um, you can buy this actually on Amazon for less than $40. Uh, the scope and the scope rings, they come from Amazon too, but they're not an Amazon product. They just had them on there. They were still they went to the storefront for Burris on there and got those. Um, this is less than 40. I want to say these were less around 50-ish bucks, I think. The scope itself was $300 plus. We'll go into a little details about the scope. And there's another company out there called, I think it's Wigan. Uh, I just had it on my phone. Let me look because I want to make sure I get that right. Uh, get back where I was at. Yeah, Wigan Machine and Design. Uh, Now, they make a mount that's actually supposed to be one of the best mounts for these heavy punching pistols. Uh, that's something else you want to look at too. Get some good quality stuff, people. Uh, don't buy no junk because the force that these type of guns put out, the pieces you put on it are going to have to be able to handle it. And these pieces that I have just showed here should be able to handle that, going by the reviews and the research and everything else I've looked at and what people have used. Uh, there is a better scope out there made by Leupold, but that scope is not available. And to my understanding, from what I've read, Leupold has got out of the pistol scope making market for whatever reason. I do not know. Uh, so there's that. I did want the Leupold, but it's not available. I could not get it. And something like that, I do not want to buy used uh, online or anything like that unless it's from somebody I truly, truly know and trust. But anyway, so there's that. Now let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be doing here. Like I say, this is a little single-use bottle of Loctite. It's not Loctite brand, but it does the same thing. This is actually a type of thread locker that we get when I'm a mechanic, and when I do a front end job such as replacing ball joints, some of the ball joints come with this compound. It is very good. It's not super strong like the red Loctite. It's not weak. It is good. It is sufficiently used for what I'm useful. Now, I would recommend that your little baggie, you get done with this, throw this in the baggie if you have canines, felines, or anything like that. Because, I mean, you don't want them, you inadvertently leave this out. They come around. My dogs are nosy. They like to sniff. They like to taste. Uh, this might wind up in the front room and they're chewed up pieces, and I'm going to have a possible uh, cat- catastrophic event with one of my babies, and I don't want that. So anyway, safety first, people. Uh, so first thing we're going to do is I've kind of pre-opened some of this stuff so it'd be easier. Is we'll take out the mount. Now this thing should come with all the hardware and everything needed. You can see it through the package. I know it's in there. So I just want to try to fish this out of the package. And as you know, everything's anti-theft and all that. And all, so I'm going to might get a little noisy. Uh, see, I've got somebody's interest over here. They think I've got a pack of crackers. Uh, this is not crackers. Uh, Later, I'm going to post a picture of the mount that I tried to use the first time on this. That I, from the company I mentioned, the Wigan company. Uh, like I say, there was some issues. There was some discrepancies with that just did not jive with anything. So let's test fit this thing, and hopefully it's going to fit. It is a good, nice fit. The one thing that I do notice about this versus the Wigan is that the Wigan has a piece that will fit square into that. Good tight fit. And this one does not have that exact type. You can see the little groove right in there. That's what's going to be going in that. But, you get everything mounted on there nice and tight, and it should work just fine. And, we're going to have this. This is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to open up the Loctite. And if you will excuse me for just 10 seconds, I'm going to grab paper towel and put it here so I'll get this on table and get charged with the deadly crime of messing up my wife's table. Which, I'll be honest with you, I can't blame her for getting mad at me if I do, because this table, this is the very first piece of furniture me and my wife ever bought. Uh, we've been married for coming up on 26 years. We've been together longer than that. We've considered ourselves married longer than that. So this table, this chairs, they're all in good shape. We've taken care of them. Like I say, it's our first piece of furniture we ever bought together, so I don't want to mess it up. Get this open. Clip the tip of this thing off. I'm going to put it inside the baggie and clip it that way so it don't fly off. And these little canines that's watching me here don't get all nosy. Now, it is cut. Okay. The end is in the bag, I hope. Make sure it's there, and it is. All right. Now, let's see. Yes, here we go. This is the little bag of screws, and I know you probably can't see that, but there's a Torx bit in there and some screws. And we're going to open that up carefully. You don't want this stuff flying around anymore. You lose one of these screws. Mine come with an extra, which is odd, but hey, it is what it is. So I will be putting two of them up and using three because that's what I've got here. I got 5 screws. And I'm going to put a little dab of this Loctite on there like so. Now, Loctite's one of those kind of things that too much is not a good thing, people. We'll put the cap back on it until I am completely done with it. Okay. Uh, like I say, too much Loctite is not good. Believe me, I've been down that road. It's terrible. I was hoping this little tool that I had would fit here, and my lighting is terrible. I don't like the way it fits, so we're going to use the bit, and the bit is a very nice fit. Uh, just for assistance, every mechanic worth his salt carries one of these. Anyway, so I'm going to be using that, and let's start applying the pieces. Okay, now this one's going on. I will take one of these screws, the middle one, and I will apply it into the hole. Okay, and I will take that way it's in position. I don't have to sit here and try to balance everything, and there we go. Right on. I will snug this up by fingers. Now, one thing I should have done before I even went any further was I should have test fitted those screws to make sure they worked on these threads. But they appear to be doing fine, just like they're supposed to. We'll got that one snugged in. We'll put the second one. And there's no particular random order I'm doing this in. I did start in the middle, just because, it helps keep everything kind of centered. Now, while I'm doing some of this small stuff, I'm going to idle chit chat here and ask some questions. What do y'all think about this communist takeover? I call it communist. Uh, they call themselves socialist or whatever. Well, the Democratic Party. What do y'all think is coming about here? Uh, Set this down for a second. Uh, I mean, it used to be, you know, communism was the enemy of the world. Terrible thing, but we have a different society nowadays, and it's concerning to me, be honest with you, about what is going on. I mean, uh, I see some things that could be really, really bad. I mean, yeah, everything political can be bad, uh, but this goes beyond politics, people. This goes into your actual way of living. Uh, I hear some of the stories that they're talking about, and how they want to abolish uh, private property ownership and stuff like that. And I mean, it just blows my mind that people would even be willing to contemplate allowing that to happen. I mean, I it I'm having a little trouble with the screws here, people. Not it's just about cumbersome hands. Now, how would you feel? Say you own a house, you work, you sweated like a dog, you done everything to take care of this home, and all of a sudden the government's gonna come and tell you, say, look, well, you don't own the home no more. We own the home. It is now government property. I mean, what? How would you feel about it? What would that make you think? Uh, if you rented property, you know, they're wanting to have complete, total control of everything there is. Okay, this is mounted. These screws should be countersunk down in them holes. You don't want them in the way or none of that stuff. It's a nice fit, solid fit. Don't see no daylight coming through the cracks or nothing, so we should be good and flush. Like I say, it's loctited in and all that. Now, I just it just blows my mind how this is coming about, and they're getting in little offices to start. And this is something that I've always, always, always disliked is people talk about nonpartisan races and stuff like that. In the town I live in, I served on our city council for 2 terms, which was 8 years total. Um, I always felt like that people in politics like that should serve no more than an 8 year stretch at all. Uh, I think once you start getting beyond that, you going from helping the people to helping yourself. But like I say, we're in a little small town here. I mean, the amount of pay I received was after taxes was $69 per month, and that's only if I attended each. I think it was a weekly meeting on Tuesdays. Might have been a monthly meeting. I don't remember which. It's been a good long while. But my duties there, I was over sanitation, sewer and water, and mayor pro tem. Uh, those those type of races was nonpartisan races, and what that means is that I'll take this scope out, and as soon as I do get done with this little rant I'm talking about, I'll go over the scope stuff. Uh, what happens when you do that is you don't know. what that person's political affiliation is. All you know is what they're telling you. You have to look at a person's political affiliation to get a better idea of what they're actually standing for. I mean, Republican, Democrat, socialist, as they call themselves, stuff like that. Nonpartisan, non-affiliation. That's actually what my was. I'm not affiliated with either party, even though I lean heavily Republican, conservative, uh, and even more now since what's going on with the Democratic Party. I wouldn't. I, if I have a discussion with somebody and I shouldn't be like this, but if I know they're Democrat, that just takes to me that removes all credibility of what they're saying. And no, I should not be like that, but I am, and I can't help it. Okay, now what I'm kind of doing here is I'm just trying to get an idea, a general idea of where I'm going to have this scope mounted at, which is going to be, right about this location. And it should, I can move it further back if I want, further forward if I want. But as of right now, we're going to put her in the middle. And so that gives me an idea of where I'm going to put the scope rings at. And it looks like I'm going to be putting them in not the very last groove on each end, but the next ones up to it. I'm going to be putting my rings here and here. Now I can go out one groove further, but I would be a little off on the front one or the back one. So we're going to go inside one notch. And that's just me getting all this stuff mounted in a general location. I may go and once I have this thing bore sighted and go to the range, I may decide to move some stuff. But anyway, the scope. This is a burris. It is a 2 through 7 by 32 millimeter. Now, this is it's a stout scope. Uh, the eye relief on this thing is supposed to be over 20. I think it was 21 inches, which I mean that's the distance between your eye and the scope to what you can see. And once I get it out here and I get light coming through it, I can actually see through this scope a wide range at this distance, which is when you're holding a pistol, that's what you want. Because you're not going to be able to take something like this and do like this. No, because you're going to knock your teeth out, what you're going to do. Maybe split your skull open or something. But anyway, you got to have this thing out, both hands at full arm's length. And that's why you want to get a scope that can handle the punch of this pistol with the most eye relief that you can get. That's the way I feel anyway. Um, what comes in this box? The scope and the book, and you get a little rubber tag, which says, now this thing is warranted forever. This thing has a lifetime warranty, no questions asked. I mean, you don't, just so y'all can see a good name and what I'm talking about, see that forever warranty, no questions asked. I mean, you don't get no better than that, people. And, one good thing too, the name is on it. I've always felt like when a company puts their name on the product, that's kind of says a little something to me. I've seen a lot of products. I've got a lot of products, firearm products and stuff like that. Odd stuff, no name stuff, everything. I've got red dots in there. I don't even know who made them. It's just some stuff I bought to get me going until I got a better item, and that's what happened. But yeah, this is I feel like this is a quality scope. I will put a picture up on the community page if you're interested. It will show the Wigan mount when I first got it and put it on this pistol. And the reason why I didn't use it, you will see it in the picture. Once you see it, you will know that mount only come to this part right here. It was just this total length long. You cannot mount a pistol scope on a Picatinny mount like that. There's just no room to put the rings or any of that stuff. Um, that scope in my opinion, is designed for a red dot, but they sold it as a pistol, as a scope mount. Uh, I did look at the specs on Amazon, of course. There was a big mistake in the specs, people. It says that that device should have exceeded 6 inches long. It did not. Uh, I mean, it shows in the picture that it's small, and I should have looked at that picture and took that as the judging factor. I looked around online and stuff like that, couldn't really find all the information. I even actually tried to call Wigan. Uh, Unfortunately, it was on a Saturday. Nobody was there. They said they don't return calls, so don't bother leaving a voicemail with a phone number. Expect a return call if you want help. Uh, Send an email. I mean, so I just decided, we're just going to send this back anyway. So I'm just dropping it, letting it go. But I just want you to know, be careful with what you buy from companies. Make sure it's what you need. This is no negative review on Wigan and their products. I'm sure they have fantastic products. I would have liked to use their product, but I couldn't get clarification to find what I needed. Uh, I could find it online. I couldn't find it on their website. I couldn't find it on Amazon. I couldn't find it anywhere to purchase it. But I could find product descriptions of it. But anyway, that's that. All right, let's we got the scope out. Get the box moved. Let's make sure there ain't nothing else in there, and there's not. Now we're going to put the scope mounts on, and like I say, these right here are made by Burris. They're a low profile uh, scope mount. You got different heights of these that you can get. Uh, I chose the lowest one. That's going to get me more accuracy, more balance on the gun, and all that stuff like that. And then I don't have a scope sitting up high. Because another thing too is the closer it is to the gun, it's going to help. I plan on having a holster made for this, that when I am out in the field, I can have this on my side, and the holster being made will have to be, be able to use for a scope. And, it's all more of a compact design because this thing's already big enough, people. You don't need to be adding more space out there that you're going to take. But anyway, we'll take these out. I've already opened the package and set everything off here. You need to kind of disassemble these just a little. And, well, not really a little, but you need to take the top off. Here I can use the tool. And there's little set screws in there. I'll be taking those out. And there's that. I will be removing this little clamp screw right here. I'm going to remove it. Why am I taking this off, you may ask? Because I want to put some Loctite on it. Just a dab. Just a tiny dab's all I want. There we go. Okay. That's all I want. Just that. Now I'm going to put a little bit on these screws. And that's done. I'll put the cap back on this. And we will start partially assembling this back the way it was so I can mount it. And there's no need in really screwing it all the way down because you're going to loosen it back up anyway. Now, another thing too, you need to determine, you can put these things either or direction. You can put, you see that handle, you can put that on either side of the gun. So make sure you're going to put it on the side that's not going to be in your way. And for me, on a revolver, I think my best option would be to put it on this side, the right hand side. I may change that later. I don't know. But right now, it is going to be on the right hand side. Okay, we got that on there. Let's tighten this down. Got a good snug fit. Now, one thing I do want to point out on these burst uh, scope rings is this handle here. It's kind of, I don't know, obnoxious. You know, it's just out there. Not that it's that big of a deal, really, but uh, cosmetic wise, it's, I don't know. You got this big fancy pistol. You like to have something a little bit more neater appearance on there. Uh, but I guess it's more purpose and function than it is appearance. Okay, I'm gonna take the other one apart. You know what I was saying about earlier. About the so-called socialists or whatever. And something else they want to do too. They're talking about abolishing the Senate. So that's another big problem. I mean, are states okay with having no representation? That I'm seeing red flags everywhere with this people, and it's it, it just blows my mind how some of these young people, and that's I don't want to say that's where it's all coming from. Man, let's see, what is this on energies? All right, apparently my energy saver is on. Uh, I may have enough time to finish this. Okay, we got this one back together with the Loctites. We'll put it on the pistol, put it in position, lock it down, and there it is. And there's what you got, people. Okay. Now, I know they're equally tight to within a few inch pounds of each other because the way these handles are, in the same direction, all that stuff like that, everything. Uh, but anyway, that's it. That's what you got. So then I'm going to attach the scope. Make sure you get the right end where you want it, people. I want to put this back to where nothing is going to be in the way of my adjustments. Uh, make sure it's as level as much as I can level it. And then we'll put the caps back on. We'll start with one screw. It's kind of just enough to get it started. Sorry, this is taking so long, people. Okay, now we will snug these up just to where they bottom out. I'm sitting here talking about all the socialists and everything going in, and I'm sitting here. It's actually kind of going over some of that stuff on TV now. Now, I've got it all on there. I've got it snug. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna tighten this up. Now you want to do it in little increments at a time. You don't want to over tighten one side over the other one, and you don't want to get the front more tighter than you do the back. You want to kind of do it equal. Make Loctite. I can't say enough about Loctite, people. There we go. Okay, this is it. This is mounting the scope onto the pistol. Uh, I did move forward just one notch on the front over the back. Uh, that was not done purposely. It wasn't even noticed until just now, but I'm going to leave it like it is at this point in time, and just to see, for performance purposes. And I'm going to, look, and I can see through there just fine. Uh, you know, I like it, people. I like it. I like it a lot. Uh, we will eventually get this to the range. Uh, I will not be shooting those high dollar hollow point ammos that I showed you earlier, those Hornadies. Those will not be shot at the range. I do have some less expensive hard cast ammo. Um, it's made by Magtech. I don't have the actual specs on it, but they were $65 a box that I picked up today at a local gun show they was having. That's the only reason I even went there was for that gun, for that one particular purpose. Okay, uh, that's all I've got. I will be putting a picture up on the community page showing the Wigan mount on this same pistol. Uh, I'll put a little bit of information in there about why I'm not using it and all that stuff like that. So, y'all have a good one. Stay low, stay ready. Try to keep cool, man. It's hot out there.